Well, hi everybody. Nice to see all of you from parts of the frozen United States. I always think about that thing, Deborah. Well, you grew up in New York, right?
Yes,
It's Deborah
did.
Pryor. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, and remember, you should never like lick a sleigh in the winter. Put your tongue on your sled
Ooh,
because it
I never
sticks.
heard
Yeah, you
that
don't want to
one.
put your
Oh my
tongue on
God.
metal when it's cold. No.
Right.
Hi, Donna.
Hi.
Oh, I was thinking about that. That's Donna
Wow.
James at our support
How do
desk.
you,
Well, you're in Texas. We're in
I
big
am.
trouble if the
Yeah, well, we
sleds
had a
are.
we had a couple of cold days, but yeah, we're getting back to more normal temperatures for this time of year.
mhm.
I know, man. It's just getting colder here in New York. But anyway, it's nice and warm here tonight, especially because all of you are joining us for our
Mm.
voiceover spotlight training. Because we're talking about how to have a little chat in all of your voiceovers and book more jobs. And I
How
have
do
with
you
me,
so perfectly, Susan, let the music end at the
because
top of the hour?
I'm an old DJ and I know how to back time.
Oh, you see what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
I know.
perfect. Perfect
I'm cool
timing.
like that.
You're cool like that.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, we always start on time around here and that is because we have so much good stuff to share with you tonight. The topic is being conversational in voiceovers. Because until you get this one, it's such a key piece. This used to drive me crazy, Deborah, when I started, because I did come from radio where we were like kind of sounded like DJs and announcers. And when I made the transition to do voiceover full time, I had to like unlearn all that radio stuff and be conversational. Now, this is years ago, but nothing has changed, Deborah, has it? It's
Nope.
the instructions we're getting are as conversational as ever, even more so. So
Mhm.
that's why we're doing an entire spotlight training on this topic tonight. And welcome to all you new folks. This is the Great Voice Company, and I want to please remind you to turn your phone off so you're not distracted and you can give us your 100% undivided attention. So, this is all about how to perform voiceovers like a pro, even and especially if you're brand new and you want to get started and you've never read a script before in your life. I know there's a lot of folks like that on the call tonight. And this is how to get started without spinning your wheels or wasting your time or your money. Now, if this is your first time on one of our skill spotlight trainings, would you come in the chat and type That's me, so we can welcome you. Any newcomers that
Well,
want to
I see
see the
lots of new names. Everybody come in there.
Oh, look at
Donna
Donna and
Jefferson.
Heather and Adam,
Yep.
Bruce and Terrell
Little
James
and
Mildred's on
McLean.
tonight.
Queen.
She's
Yep.
new.
Oh, look at all
Yeah.
these new folks. Welcome, guys. Phyllis, Barbara, Lisa, Nicholas, Cody,
Wow.
Yvette, Rita.
Rita.
So nice to
Hmm.
see all of you. Lou from New Jersey. Hi,
Hmm.
Lou.
Mhm.
Right
Hi,
down the
Lou.
street. Tootie, welcome back, Tootie.
Oh,
Oh,
Tootie,
Tootie's
Tootie,
here.
Tootie.
Bob Loudermilk also. Bob's a seasoned Great Voice member who just booked
Bob.
more. Bob's like booking work like crazy on Upwork. He's doing great. Uh,
Mhm.
Barb's
Barbara's
here.
here.
Barb's here. Hi,
That's
Barb.
awesome. Okay, great. Nice to see all of you with us tonight, and a special hello to our members of the community that come back again and again. We so appreciate that. So, look, you want to get started in voiceover. You're feeling a little concerned about the voice acting piece. So, you know there's a
Mhm.
voice thing in here because it's voiceover. But what you might be surprised to learn is that you need to learn how to act. Not like
Mhm.
stage act either, voice act. It's different. So that's the theme tonight, and that's one of the things we train you on here. Because maybe who's ever heard their voice? I mean, there's probably people on the line tonight that love the sound of your speaking voice. But if you've ever listened to a recording of your voice and you're like, I'm really not quite ready for prime time, it's not your fault because there's all kinds of misinformation out there, information overload, which can keep you from success. And maybe you're a little nervous about performing, even though it's supposed to be fun. Well, not to worry. We have cured the worst cases of mic fright.
Mm.
And if you're not a natural performer and you don't want to embarrass yourself by getting it wrong, and you know you need to fix this now, you are totally in the wrong room tonight. So, this presentation is for people who want two things. Number one, performance training with an expert coach like Ms. Deborah sitting over there in Los Angeles, looking over your shoulder to help you get
Mhm.
started in voiceover without wasting your time or your money. And you want confidence in your performance skills because the only way to get that is with our sound conversational performance masterclass, which we'll tell you about shortly. So, because there's new people, I'll introduce myself. I'm Susan Berkley. I am the signature voice of Citibank and have been for many, many years. I was the voice of AT&T. I've done untold numbers of voiceovers, and I do this professionally. I do voiceovers every single day. And I spent 15 years in radio, including a stint on the Howard Stern Show. And I founded greatvoice.com, and we help launch successful voiceover careers. We've done that for thousands of people in the decades we've been coaching. And I've written a few books. Voiceover Secrets Exposed is one I know a lot of you guys have, and also Speak to Influence, How to Unlock the Hidden Power of Your Voice. And I've been featured in the New York Times, CNBC, and ABC News. And I want you to meet Deborah Pryor. So, Deborah, hi there.
Hi there.
Hi, Deborah. I think I spotlighted you. Yeah, you're spotlighted. Okay. So
Yeah,
Deborah
I'm here.
is originally from New York, but she now lives in Los Angeles and's been there for many years. As we know, it is the
Mhm.
entertainment capital. And Deborah is a former entertainment journalist. She even interviewed
Mhm.
John Lennon. That's a story we'll tell you one day. Or listen to our podcast. You'll hear her talk about it.
Yeah.
Deborah's the former assistant to the musician Sly Stone of Sly and the Family Stone and is a multifaceted performer for theater, TV, radio commercials, voiceover. And she is a successful voiceover artist that you can now hear on national TV. Can you say the name of that medical commercial you just recorded?
Yes, Nucala, and it'll be playing on NBC starting next month when the Winter Olympics start.
That's
So
so exciting.
Nucala. Yeah,
It's a
Nucala.
drug.
And it's called a digital, yeah, it's a digital ad. So you'll see it written, I guess, as they're doing their thing on the screen, and you'll hear me
Oh, that
talking.
is so exciting.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard your voice on television?
Oh yeah, I've heard my voice in the movie theater
Oh,
on
how
it. They
exciting.
used to do movie commercials, and one of the commercials I think it was Pepsi. Yeah, and I actually saw myself actually. I don't know if my voice was on it.
Oh, that's
I
so
was playing
exciting.
a
Did you go?
stage
Oh my
manager.
goodness, that's
Yeah,
me. It's crazy.
that's me.
I
Yeah.
know, it's so funny. It's good. It's a thrill when you hear your work.
Yeah,
But
it
we're
is.
so glad to have you here, Deborah. And you're a beloved
Yeah.
coach, and we love having you on our team and doing our
Thank you
one of
so
our
much.
demo coaches as well. So you're going to discover why sounding conversational is a crucial voiceover skill and how to future-proof your career against AI. The hidden advantage you
Mm.
already have over AI, how to use it to book more jobs, sound more conversational. That's the number one performance skill every talent needs. The secrets of self-direction get this part wrong. Your audition is dead in the water. But if you do it well, you go into the A pile. And about our upcoming performance workshop, Get Conversational with Deborah. Before we do, Deborah, I want to remind people that we have a podcast called the Great Voice Podcast. We're
Yes,
going
we
into our third
do.
season. And this podcast, here's why you guys should listen to this. In each episode, I am coaching two members of our community. So I'm doing a deep dive one-on-one coaching with them. So you listen, it's like getting a master class for free. So it's the Great Voice Podcast. It's everywhere you get your podcasts. I also interview some really cool industry guests as well. So I really recommend that. And if you haven't been to greatvoice.com in a while, we recently updated it. There's all kinds of new resources on there, so you can check that out too. Okay, now let's get that AI elephant off the table, Deborah, so people don't need to worry about
Yeah.
it. Because sometimes they wonder, well, like, is this going to take our jobs? And you know what? No. Yes, AI voices are being used in what they call scratch tracks, like to help producers would throw an AI voice on there while they're creating a project, and then later they hire a human. Unhosted podcast, phone system, certain low-level audiobooks where nuance, artistry, flair, humanity, and voice acting and creativity do not matter. So the other thing is that I am hearing from industry professionals, Deborah, that when they test their
Mhm.
jobs with AI voices, they're not working. They're getting complaints. Bob, who's on,
Mhm.
I'm not going to put Bob Loudermilk on the spot, but he had customer that told him he was going to use an AI voice, and that customer came running back like a week later and said it just didn't work. The product didn't sell with an AI voice, and I've heard that again and again and again. Adam Verner, who's one of our
Me too.
coaches, he does a lot of audiobooks, and one of his customers said, Adam, we're recording the next book in the series with an AI, and it tanked. People hated it, and they came running back to Adam to do it again. And producers say it's actually taking them longer to find an AI voice. And then when they do, it's just not up to snuff. Suddenly it speeds up. It's just so they just hire humans because it's faster and easier for them. So we're not worried about that around here. I just want to put you guys' mind at
Not at
ease.
all.
Even the Wall Street Journal said businesses don't necessarily trust AI. This was recent, and the promise could be even farther away than a few years in the future. It's a great tool. You can use it to help you with research and writing and things like that. But in our business, we really, really aren't worried because AI can't be directed. It's not a human. It can't, there's no nuance. Um,
There's no spontaneity. There's none.
None at
There's
all. It's
nothing
not
about
credible. All of these
nature.
qualities that we have to give when we work, these are directions that we get. Imagine, 1,000-year-old woman is a direction somebody got recently. Make it sound like 1,000-year-old woman. And they're an actor. Of course they can do that. They can have fun, but an AI could never do snarky, which is another
Mhm.
direction we get, or warm or humane, all of those things.
Mhm.
Okay, so the bottom line, it is not going to wipe out the voiceover industry. There's plenty of opportunity, and you are totally in the right place at the right time. So, what is conversational? Deborah, you say thought before sound. Can you talk a little bit about what that means?
Yes, yes. We're not just talking. We are human beings who are thinking first. We're like responding. We're not just reading a line. We're thinking, what happened before I even came in the room? What happened in this situation? Who am I responding to and why? What is their face looking like? These are all things that we have to think about because as humans, just like I'm talking to you now, before I got here, I was doing other things. Before you came in this room, you were doing other things. Now we're doing this. We're in this moment at this time, and I am talking to you, and you are listening to me. So all of that involves thought. You can't just we don't just speak, words. We speak thoughts.
Yeah,
We
that's a good point.
respond.
You don't just talk out into space when you do a voiceover. We're always
Mm,
visualizing one person. It's a conversation with one person. That's huge for voiceover. And almost nobody gets this in the beginning. People think, oh, I'm talking to women who want to be more beautiful hair. Well, you're not. You're talking to one woman
one
who's got
woman.
an issue. It's a one-on-one conversation.
Yes, and
The
so
lit,
that's what you mean when you say meaning before tone.
yeah.
Because I will talk to people, Susan, and they'll be like, I think on this part I'll go high. And I'm like, why? If you can explain why, because that's kind of superficial. That's very superficial. If you are saying something and you're talking and all of a sudden, say for example, you're surprised by something. So if you're surprised by something, all of a sudden, oh my God, that's going high. It's a response to something, but you wouldn't just do that for no reason. You'd be responding to something,
Yeah, and these are the
so
considerations we need to consider, Deborah. I
yeah.
want to check in with our people that are watching and listening tonight. Is this making sense, you guys? Okay, good. Oh, they're tracking with us. That's good. Okay, good.
Good.
Yeah, the listener before the script, that who is that who that we're talking to, Deborah, rather than this. You always start there with one other person. So they, who's they? They is the voice buyer, the agent, the casting director, know when it's real and when it's not, because if you don't sound real, there's no mercy. I hate to say it, I don't want to be mean, but they will delete your audition in seconds if they hear any tinge of an announcer sound, anything that's phony or fake or not real and conversational. And they know it's real when it actually when it sounds like you. And this is harder than you might think because we are, I am me and you are you. But the second somebody gets behind the mic, what happens? Oh, well, hi, I'm doing a voiceover. Hey, listen to my beautiful voice, right?
Right.
And so it's
Yeah.
harder than you think because people clam up and they suddenly put on this fake persona.
Mm-hmm.
We hear it all the
And that's
time.
a good point, Susan. They know when it's real because think about it. Voice buyers, this is what they do every day. They're listening, listening, listening to different voices. And so they know instantly. They don't have to even listen to your entire sentence. I mean, if your tone is wrong from the beginning, it's like on to the next one.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
So, and this next line here, Deborah, I want you to talk a little about this because we're the only one in this play, right? We're the only one reading
Yeah.
this. There's no one in the booth with us. Usually, sometimes we read with other voices, but if you're not reading, you're responding. So that response is split second, isn't it? Because we're visualizing
It
another
is.
person that we're talking to.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
responding to what we just said. And then our next
Mhm.
line is in response to their reaction, is it not, Deborah?
Exactly. It is exactly that. And their response can be a look. They don't have to say anything. You can tell if someone's quizzical. Is that a word? You
Yeah.
know, if you say something and they're you can tell. Think about it. If you said something to someone and they look like they don't understand, you can tell they're
Yeah.
looking like they don't understand. So you may say the same thing again and elaborate on it, and your voice is different. There's some passion behind that because you really want them to get it, you know? So you're responding to what they say or to what they don't say. It's all you don't have to even be speaking to say something. I mean, I know this is a little going to the left, but truly, you don't have to be speaking. So in that sense, you're reading between the lines of a script.
Yeah, we are always.
And
And
then
there's
that script
someone
makes
there
it
with
that
us.
makes it so much, yes, that makes
Yeah.
it so much deeper and so much more meaning because you're not just saying what's on the page. You've created an entire world behind
Yeah, a whole
that.
scenario that people we're letting people in on. So why don't our scripts sound conversational? And it's easy for enough for us to say. And I don't know if you guys, has anybody here been auditioning? Have you been out looking at real life voiceover scripts? What are some of the kinds if you are, what are some of the kinds of things that you've had to audition for? What has surprised you in scripts that you read? Some of them can be really bad or pretty crazy.
Yes.
Who's
Oh my
auditioned
gosh.
and who's read scripts? David.
And it's
All right, yeah,
something that
David.
we have to make it sound like
Yeah,
the
real
best
Miles.
in the
So
world.
give me what are some of the things
Miles,
you've read for that have like surprised you? Because the scripts you're like,
that,
whoa, what do I do with this script?
that made you really work because you're like, I don't even eat meat and I'm
Oh, Heather says
auditioning for.
use a cheerful voice, and the ad was for a sewer pumping company.
Oh my goodness.
That is it. That's
Good
so
one, Heather.
typical.
Yeah,
I did an
it
audiobook
really
audition
is.
once where I swear a whole paragraph was one sentence.
Oh
So
yeah.
figure out where to
Ooh.
pause and where to breathe. This person clearly went to the Jane Austen School of Writing. Semicolons and commas everywhere, but no periods.
Exactly.
So,
Oh
yep,
my
it
goodness.
long trying to figure out where to pause and what the thoughts were so that I could get that thought out and then get a breath.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob is
Yeah,
saying that a lot of the
Bob's
scripts he
good.
gets are written for readers rather than listeners. Yeah. So
Mhm.
this
That's a
is the
good
thing.
point.
The scripts are written by marketers. They're written by the
Mhm.
client, or they're maybe written by the client's ad agency
Lawyers.
who takes
Yeah.
a magazine ad and throws it into a voiceover script, or they're even written by lawyers because they have to be said exactly perfectly. So this is not how people talk, but we have to make
Mhm.
it sound like it is like people talk, right, Deborah? No matter what they give us,
Right.
we got to play
That's
with it.
right.
That's the
That's right.
that's the skill, that's the challenge, that's the art, you guys. Well, we're
That's the
telling you like it
training.
is. That's
That's
the
why it's
training,
like
absolutely.
training. Yeah.
So the number one mistake voiceovers make, well, I was going to
Oh.
ask you to tell me, but I told you the answer here. They speak to the
Mhm.
microphone instead of a person. Deborah, this is what we
Yeah.
were talking about before, right?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. We get in front of that mic. You did so well. You put on that voice. I want to sound so wonderful, and it's like, no, 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 no. Don't forget. You're talking to someone, not
Yeah,
something. Yeah,
someone.
very
So you
important.
like really forgetting about the microphone and
Yeah.
conjuring up a person and putting them on the
Yeah.
other side of it. Well, that's people have said address the mic. I mean, that's like an old broadcasting term. Address the
Yeah.
mic. You don't. You want to really your voice actually should disappear. What do I
Mhm.
mean by that? We need to be totally transparent. What do I mean by that? If people are paying attention to our voice when we're doing a voiceover, something's wrong. They should
Yeah.
be forming images in their mind, feeling things, seeing a product, tasting a product, smelling a product, getting excited, but not paying attention to our voice, the sound of our voice. It's a kind of a paradox. And people ask
Mm-hmm.
us all the time, hey, do you think I have the right voice for voiceover? And
Yeah,
we
that's
say
so
to them,
funny. Everybody approaches.
it's
Yeah.
not about your voice. It's about what you're doing with
Right.
your ability to take other people's words and make them sound like they're your own.
Mhm.
So a big
Exactly.
mistake is speaking to the microphone instead of to another person. Does it make sense, you guys? Is that helpful? I mean, if you walk away
Mhm.
tonight with just that piece, Miles and everybody,
Right.
we've done our
Yeah.
work. Our work on earth is
Right.
done, Deborah.
Mhm.
You speak to a
Absolutely.
person. All right. So there's
Mhm.
six types of six traits of a really conversational delivery. We don't have time to go into all of them, that you'll get those in the workshop, but let's talk about the top three, Deborah.
Mhm.
Imperfections. So what does it
Imperfection.
mean to have an
Yeah.
imperfection in a voiceover? You're reading from a script. What does that mean?
Mhm. For example, this is a good one. A lot of times there's ums and you knows and things like that, and we just don't speak. I'm blown away when I get these people who are I'm working on their demo and they're cold readers and they're so good. They're speaking perfectly. They have this voice and they're speaking perfectly. I get that with a lot of the guys. And I'm like, you speak so perfectly. Can you kind of stumble a little bit or something? You know, but we as human beings, we don't talk in a perfect way. You see how my voice just went up? And I mean, we're just really natural. We make pauses. You notice when you're speaking to someone and sometimes you'll pause and you'll even look up in the air as if you're
To
looking
grab a
for a
thought.
word up there,
Yeah.
to grab a thought. And pacing. We don't think about these things when we're with our friends or, just speaking. But the minute we get in front of the mic, we have to really have considered these things because this is the way it's going to sound like it's real. Remember, you're reading
Yeah.
someone else's words and you're trying to make them sound like your own.
So we're
So,
actually putting
yeah.
pauses in there, a slight pause here, speed it up
Mm-hmm.
there, slow it down here. And these are things that you do have to think about when you're starting out. You might plan it, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
something that there's a recipe for. You have to feel it,
Exactly. And
right?
the only way you get to feel it is getting behind that mic and just playing with things, just playing with sentences and turning away and then turning back, turning away, seeing a sentence, turning away, saying that sentence without your eyes meeting the words. And you'll be like, oh, okay, that's how I would really sound saying it. And then
Yeah.
keep that up,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
So these are
Mhm.
all the ways that we use to make something sound more
It.
conversational. You know, we stumble a little bit, we're a little less than perfect, more natural.
Mhm.
So then there's something you call reading mode, Deborah. Explain what that is.
That is exactly, say, for example, how to sound conversational and book more jobs. Our mind just goes into the word thing, as opposed to how to sound conversational and book more jobs. So it's like we start reading what we see. And it's natural to do that because we're looking at a script. That's why you have to be trained as a voice actor so that you can learn not to read. Our motto in voice acting is never get caught reading, even though that's what we're doing, because it's flat. It can be too fast. It can be fake energy. There's no connection to what you don't even have a connection to what you're saying. So the listener is not going to have connection either,
Yeah,
you know. And if you decide to fake it, and the listener knows, oh, I'm not feeling that.
yeah.
So yeah.
That's the art of it. Trying to find our way into a script, somebody that's written by an attorney, even. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
So the number
And we
one
can
mis
find our way, excuse me, one thing,
sure.
we can find our way to relating it to a real aspect of our life. We have so many examples out there. We have friends who are going through stuff that, have talked to us, and we have that. Let's go, let's visit that place mentally and then associate it with what it is we're reading there if it applies. That's what makes things real. They become real to you. And once they're real to you, it's real to the listener.
Yeah. So the number one mistake people make is sounding good versus sounding real.
Mm-hmm.
And what do in people's minds, what is sounding good? Well, reading flawlessly, reading
Mm-hmm.
with beautiful inflection, sounding resonant and rich, not having a little hoarseness in your voice, having your best voice, perhaps not sounding like you just had a cold a few days ago. You know, so people get hung up on things like that versus
Mm-hmm.
sounding real. So
Exactly.
this is what,
Yeah.
if we sound too polished, it can actually be a
Oh,
liability in
God.
voiceover today, right?
That part, that part. And let me give you a perfect example. And I knew this, but I had to experience it myself, quite frankly. So I did a political ad. And I remember I did several takes of it and everything. And the take that booked me the job was just a very real sounding person. In political ads, they don't want anything flowery. They don't want perfection at all. They want this passionate person that real and it's wonderful because if it's something you really believe in, you can really put that feeling in it. But they don't want anything sounding good in the way that it doesn't sound like a real person.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you want
So
to
I
sound like
remember
the
that,
average
yeah.
voter. They
Right.
want you
You
to
want
They
to
sound
want
like the
sound like the
authenticity.
average voter.
Authenticity.
right, authentic
Yes.
and you know, a little ticked off and outraged
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
all of those
And it
kinds of.
wasn't even me. It wasn't even my natural, it was just this neighborhood black lady, really, who was like, they're not on our side, and it was just
Yep.
yeah, it was, I remember. And then I remember in the booking, they said, okay, take this one line and do it 7 different times. Now, as a voice, you can't even stop to think about it. Just do it. Just do it. Let it fly. you know,
7 different ways, completely different
seven
ways.
different ways.
Yep.
Absolutely. I said times
Mhm.
ways.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's what we train you guys to do.
Yes.
So the one person rule, let's talk about that to make sure people understand this. In
Mhm.
voiceover, guys, you never speak to a crowd.
It's not
You
public
never
speaking.
visualize an audience and you never speak to the world. So it's not like who's this product for? All men or men over 50. No. Who's that man over 50 that has that problem that you're talking to, that one guy? And then you need to describe them. What do they look like? How old are they? Where do they live? Are they married? Are they single? What's their house like? What kind of car do they drive? Talk to that guy. And a big tip is to choose somebody you know, and you can write that down. So it's never a crowd, it's never an audience, it's never women, it's never men. It's one person.
Cast a person you know in the role
There
in
you
your
go.
mind.
That's right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's totally right. So Deborah's
Mhm.
rule is if you do not see someone, you will sound like no one. I love that, Deborah. Why don't you
Exactly.
talk us through that? What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm always telling people that I am working with on demos. I'm like, help them see a movie in their mind from
Yeah,
what you're saying. Help that person, whoever's listening, to see what it is you're saying. So and it's just like what Susan just described. I mean, if you haven't chosen someone, and somebody said, if it's someone you know, if you haven't chosen a real person to talk to, then you're just out in the ether talking to
yeah,
just, you know,
yeah.
you sound like nobody at all. Yeah.
That's right. You need to have a point of view. So if you see someone,
Yeah.
you will sound
Mhm.
like no one. That's great. So somebody very specific. So common performance problems that Deborah fixes and is going to fix in this workshop I'm about to tell you about. Of course, sounding like you're reading, no emotion or a flat emotion or too much emotion, right? What's the difference, Deborah? What between having no emotion and too much emotion?
Well, too much emotion is energy that is not necessary. I was just talking about it in using the political ad as a reference.
Right.
They don't want perfection and flowery, and they don't want all of that, whatever that is. But they want something. They want something. So behind your words is a feeling, are
Yeah.
feelings. And those feelings have been developed, as I said before, by a situation you went through, or your friend went through, or something you experienced related to something that has happened in your life, and it can become real. I would say take any script, and the more you read that one script, the deeper it gets in your
Yeah.
psyche.
That's
It
right.
really does.
And
And
a lot of the
remember
scripts,
that deepness.
and
Yeah.
sometimes scripts are really lame. Like I'm
Yes.
thinking of a Topsy Tail commercial I did years ago. I did a lot of direct response commercials. If you're getting bored with your hair, don't despair. Now there's an exciting new look
No.
with Topsy Tail. I mean, that's lame. But
Yes,
you
but
gotta
I
you gotta
saw the
really
picture, the
bring it.
image is that little
You
cute
reached
little pigtails and
you
you
reached
know, yeah,
teenage me. I really wanted a topsy tail
that's
grandma.
right.
Exactly, I
And
did.
me. That's right.
You got to bring it no matter what we
You
do. We
gotta
got to
bring
bring
it.
it. And that's
Mhm,
that's the right emotion for the situation. That's
mhm.
it. So look, guys, with the right step-by-step guidance, do you think you could get this? Do you think you could do this? Come in the chat and tell us.